This is Art Television.
Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
UHD quality video streaming, internet like a boss, SLT Mobitel Fiber.
IWS Aviation.
Our own little ones running around this house will be so lovely. I think 12 might work.
Connect multiple devices simultaneously. Internet like a boss. SLT Mobitel Fiber.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Ashine Ali and let's have a look at the headlines first. Government addresses shortage of essential drugs. Government upskills migrant workers to secure top-tier jobs. News in detail. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday instructed the Ministry of Health to promptly submit a report on essential drugs in Sri Lanka and on drugs in short supply. This was stated at a discussion held under the patronage of the Prime Minister at the Prime Minister's office to discuss short and medium-term solutions to the current drug crisis. During the meeting, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the governments of Sri Lanka and India had agreed to pay back the loan in Sri Lankan rupees after discussions due to the lack of dollars for the purchase of $200 million in medicines received by Sri Lanka under the Indian loan facility. The Minister of Health, Kehalia Ramakwala, stated during the meeting that due to the stock of medicines and anesthetics provided by the French government today, it will be possible to maintain a continuous 90-day operation in all emergency operating theatres in the country. Meanwhile, the Drug Regulatory Authority is making prompt purchases of drugs while an independent committee headed by the Minister of Health and Kehalia Ramakwala has been appointed to amend the Drugs Regulatory Authority Act. In addition, it was revealed that there is a shortage of 76 essential medicines at present and that local pharmaceutical suppliers have to pay 33 billion rupees in arrears. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa yesterday pointed out the need to implement languages and vocational training programs targeting job vacancies for skilled workers in foreign countries. The President made these remarks at a discussion held at the President's house to review the progress of the program to direct the skilled workers towards foreign employment. The President pointed out that in the face of the current economic crisis, special attention should be paid to generating foreign exchange through foreign employment opportunities. Upskilled workers can secure more opportunities in careers with high pay, and there is a great demand for nursing in many countries, including in Europe, said the President's media division. The Bureau of Foreign Employment estimates that there are more than 350,000 job vacancies in geriatric care and the catering industry in Japan alone. However, it added that Japanese language proficiency is mandatory in this regard. The President said that Japanese language programs should be implemented immediately with the participation of the private and public sectors, including the National Apprentice and Industrial Training Authority, the Vocational Training Authority and the Foreign Employment Bureau. Special attention was paid to the removal of barriers faced by any person currently in the public service or an employee recruited under the multi-purpose scheme when leaving for foreign employment. Foreign Employment Promotion Minister Manu Shananayakara added that the opportunity when made available should not affect seniority. The minister pointed out that they could be encouraged to send foreign remittances by providing vehicle import licenses, housing loans and facilities for school children. The minister also said that attention should be given to securing employment opportunities through embassy intervention.
දැන් හුඟක් වෙලාවට මේ තරුණ කොටස් වල මුදල් උපයීමේ ක්‍රමවේද අපි හදලා දුන්නොත් ඒක හරිම වැදගත් දෙපැත්තෙම එකක් මේ ඒ අවස්ථාවක් ලබා දීම දෙවැනි එක අපිට තාම අත්‍යවශ්‍ය ෆොරින් එක්ස්චේන්ජ් පුළුවන් තරම් ගෙන්න ගන්න එකට. හුඟක් රටවල තියෙනවනේ වැඩි මුදලක් ගෙවන ඒවා ස්කිල් එක වැඩි ඒ වැඩි ඒවට අපි යවා ගන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක. ඒකේ මොනවා හරි මේ බ්ලොග්ස් තියෙනවා නම් භාෂාව ඉගෙනීම හෝ එහෙම එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒවා කොහොමද අපි වැඩි කරගන්නේ? මම වොකේෂනල් ට්‍රේනින් එකටත් කිව්වේ පුළුවන් තරම් අපිට ට්‍රේනින් කරලා දෙන්න මේ පිටරට යවන්න.
The weekly Treasury bill auction produced an impressive outcome as weighted averages dipped on all three maturities, while the auction was fully subscribed after a lapse of 2 weeks. The market favourite 3-month bill maturity recorded a fall of 42 basis points to 23.65%, while the 6-month and 1-year maturities dipped by 47 and 20 basis points respectively to 24.22% and 24.30%. The total offered amount of 90 billion rupees was successfully accepted at the auction, while its bids to offer ratio increased to a 15-week high of 2.36 to 1. In the secondary bond market, limited activity continued on the liquid 1st June of 2025 maturity at levels of 22.63% to 22.665%. Nevertheless, renewed buying interest in secondary bills post-auction results saw the latest 3-month, 6-month and 1-year maturities trading at lows of 22%, 23.50% and 23.75% respectively. The total secondary market treasury bond bill transacted volume for the 24th of May 2022 was 6.8 billion rupees. In money markets, the weighted average rates on overnight call money and repo was registered at 14.50% each, while the net liquidity deficit stood at 523.99 billion rupees yesterday. An amount of 194.30 billion rupees was deposited at central bank's standard deposit facility rate of 13.50%, while an amount of 718.29 billion rupees was withdrawn from central bank's standard lending facility rate of 14.50%. In the forex market, the middle USD Sri Lankan rupee spot contract rate remained steady at 359.3764 rupees yesterday. The total USD Sri Lankan rupee traded volume for the 24th of May was $10 million. Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break.
But if she doesn't legs, she'll have to go. UHD quality video streaming. Internet like a boss. SLT Mobitel Fiber.
Now, you can buy your ultra-fast fiber connection online through sltmobitel.lk and get special discounts.
Welcome back after the break. Sri Lanka United National Business Alliance yesterday demanded immediate government action to protect small and medium enterprises, a sector that engages 4.5 million people. They expressed serious concerns on the adverse effects faced by its members and all sectors of the economy as a result of the economic crisis. Alliance chairperson Tanya Abesundara told journalists yesterday that if the government continues to neglect the 4,500 SMEs, they would be forced to engage in protests. Abesundara stressed that no steps have been taken to protect SMEs, which serve as the backbone of any economy. She urged the government to extend loan repayment timelines and introduce a mechanism to supply uninterrupted fuel supply for SMEs in order to conduct business, as the central bank governor had said it was not possible to extend repayments. Chairperson Abesundara claims the government is only concerned with providing for the public sector and large companies while completely neglecting the SMEs. The alliance further claims that they can no longer absorb the rising cost of production without relief from the government to keep their businesses afloat. President of the Vehicle Importers Association of Sri Lanka, Indika Sampath Maranchige, said if the government fails to come up with a revival plan within the next 2 or 3 months, all SMEs will be forced to withhold bank loan installments. He said the CBSL governor had admitted that there was a risk of closing down local industries while 30% of government factories have decided to shift to foreign countries. Noting that the country is on the brink of collapse, Maranchige called on authorities to take immediate actions to avoid social unrest, unemployment and countrywide riots. Rising borrowing costs and the worldwide fallout from the Russia-Ukraine war could see up to 10% of riskier junk-rated emerging market countries suffer debt crisis this year. Analysts at US investment bank JP Morgan have warned. More acute balance of the payment pressures and larger fiscal deficits are now compounding problems for heavily indebted countries that import most of their energy and food. Sri Lanka has just suffered its first ever sovereign default, joining a list that already included Lebanon, Suriname, Venezuela and Zambia. Russia and Ukraine are both teetering too, and the worry is the numbers globally will soon balloon. A note led by strategist Trang Nguyen states that, as assessed, nearly half of the 52-country sample is classified as carrying high repayment risk. Of these, 8 are at risk of reserve depletion by the end of 2023, signaling high default risks. These 8 countries are Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bahamas, Belize, Senegal, Rwanda, Grenada and Ethiopia. A jump in world interest rates in response to fast rising inflation also means many countries are facing the reality of rising borrowing costs, a departure from over a decade of so-called easy money. JP Morgan's note added that accounting for risks of a potential default in Russia and restructuring in Ukraine, the EM sovereign HY default rate could reach 10% this year, while also pointing out how Ethiopia was moving towards a G20-led restructuring of its debts. The International Monetary Fund, too, has said that nearly 60% of low-income countries are either in or at high risk of debt distress. Analysts at investment firm Tel Millers this week highlighted how a record 27 emerging market countries now have Eurobond yields above 10%. Those yields are proxy for what a government has to pay to borrow in the international capital markets, and anything above 10% is generally seen as a sign of trouble. JP Morgan said that in addition to the 8 countries flagged as an immediate default danger, large economies such as Egypt, Ghana and Pakistan were also highly vulnerable from fiscal and debt standpoints over the slightly longer term. The Colombo Ports terminal operators and shipping line agents recently reassured global customers that it is business as usual despite the economic and political crisis. The joint reassurance came via statement amidst reports claims global lines were scaling down operations to Colombo and domestic crisis hampering productivity. South Asia Gateway Terminals Limited, together with Ceylon Association of Shipping Agents, assures global shipping lines and operators of container and conventional services of uninterrupted operations at normal and expected levels in the port of Colombo, despite the economic and political crisis situation in the country. It said continued and unhindered operations at the port is also receiving attention at the highest level of the government consequent to the appointment of a new Prime Minister last week. The Port of Colombo being identified as an essential service catering to vital transshipment, exports, imports and related logistics services which supports the Sri Lankan economy has received and is assured of an uninterrupted supply of electricity and fuel to maintain the demand required. Shipping services contribute immensely to the Sri Lankan economy and hence the shipping community stresses the importance of Colombo as a regional transshipment hub. Interterminal trucking between terminals and transport for logistics services to move domestic laden and empty containers are receiving priority, and connections for transshipment containers are able to make their targets on couriers without misses. Clearance of import and export shipments are moving at a desired level, notwithstanding delays in the clearance of some import cargoes due to a shortage of foreign currency. The port trade unions acknowledge the vital importance of the sector for economic sustenance and revival of the country, and the management of Sri Lanka Ports Authority and the private terminals, CICT and SAGT, are confident that they would be in a position to meet the economic challenges and ensure service delivery to customers. In terms of performance, the statement said that the Port of Colombo continues to grow, and figures for the first 4 months up to April reflect an overall growth in volumes of 100,356 TEUs and in transshipment 92,099 TEUs over the same period of 2021. This shows steady progress while continuing to play a pivotal role as a regional transshipment hub, with strategic intent and plans being developed to expand capacity and services to evolve to a regional shipping center second to none. Stay tuned for stock updates.
Our own little ones running around this house will be so lovely. I think 12 might work.
Connect multiple devices simultaneously. Internet like a boss. SLT Mobitel Fiber.
Now you can buy your ultra-fast fiber connection online through sltmobitel.lk and get special discounts.
Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The All Share Price Index dropped 50.58 points to close at 8,319.58, and the S&P SL20 dropped 35.49 points to close at 2,744.54. The turnover was 1.6 billion rupees and over 103 million shares were traded. Up next are Forex rates. And that's all news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care and good night.
Now you can buy your ultra-fast fiber connection online through sltmobitel.lk and get special discounts.
State of Business was sponsored by
UHD quality video streaming. Internet like a boss. SLT Mobitel Fiber.
IWS Aviation.